Good morning, traders, and welcome to MyFundedFutures. My name is Adona, and I'm your hostess. This show is created not to only engage and entertain you, but to also make you a better trader. I myself am not an expert trader, but I will be one of the voices for this chat, and we welcome all of your questions. We'll be talking ideas, we'll be talking setups, and whatever it takes to make you a better trader. A little preview of today's show. We're going to be talking about ES and Q. We'll have some educational lessons of the day. We may do something special for you guys. And also we have a very special guest. So stay tuned. All right. Good morning, Luke.
Good morning. How you doing?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Good. I'm back.
Yay, you're back. I know the chat missed you. So
My
thank you.
reprieve is over.
Yay. Awesome. Well, can you talk to us about the US market today? How's it looking?
Yes, we dumped a bit. Earlier this week with Forrest and Barbie, we had some conversation about not freaking out about the little things. Like depending on what time horizons we're looking at or what candles we're looking at, a move can seem really big or a move can seem really small. So actually finding the moves that are signals and directionals. So amid this dump that we're having, I'm curious to hear from them what they think. Is this something that's material? Is this something that they're trading? Do they have levels on this? All that sort of thing. We also have a bit of econ data out today. We've got the ADP employment that's already come out. We had a GDP reading that's already come out. We got PCE, which has come an inflation indication coming out at 10. We got pending home sales coming out at 10. So we have some of that. But also, as somebody who is a stock guy in my heart, I love futures. I'm getting into it, but many years in stocks. A lot of good earnings today. After the close, we have Microsoft, Meta, and Robinhood. Robinhood personally is I think my biggest single stock position. It's up there. We've got 3 high flyers, tech names, retail names, all that sort of thing. So a lot to dig into today.
Awesome. Thank you so much. That's so informational. Yeah, let's welcome in our expert traders, Bull, Barbie, and First Night.
Good morning.
Yo.
How are you guys doing today?
Doing great.
I'm alive. I'm awake.
Market.
What else do I need?
Blessed. I know the market dropped a little bit. What do you guys have to say about that?
This is a serious issue. I'm kidding. It's normal price action, right? So, me, I'm going to start on the weekly every time I talk. We went to we swept that prior weekly high, and we're coming back into this bar a little bit, and we're also traversing this node on the weekly. So I see this kind of as just normal price action. Nothing crazy. Obviously data, fast forwards the market a bit. So we got an extended move, but just normal price action, chopping on the weekly.
Chopping on the weekly. What about you, Barbie?
I kind of agree. I know it looks like a big dramatic drop, but I'm always talking about putting things in perspective. So a year or two ago, a 70-point drop would be a really major thing that we'd all be freaking out about in the morning. But when we have days that are multiple hundred of points in movement on the S&P, a 70-point drop that's still within the levels is not a reason to panic. So just taking everything into perspective this morning.
Well, that makes sense. Okay, well, I guess we can move into the most interesting chart of the day, Barbie, if you want to take it.
Well, first I'll go ahead and show you my S&P 500 chart. I know we just kind of mentioned what we're looking at, but I wanted to go ahead and show you. So starting on the daily, this is kind of what we keep kind of looking at. We've had a lot of boring days, so I want to give y'all this like beautiful play of the day. We had some great plays last week, but the market's kind of been in a holding pattern. So today, if we move down to the hourly, this is kind of what I'm looking at. Let me turn these levels off for a second so we can focus on this trend line, because this is the pattern that I was really looking at to be kind of watching for the week. And this data move did get us below that trend line. So I'm paying attention to that. And so basically, so that's a change in structure. So that was actually kind of my bearish plan. So what I'm looking at today is we've kind of been hanging around the middle, around the 55.50 level on ES. And it kind of, I mean, that was just kind of the middle zone, which pushed us up to 5,600 and down to 5,500. So we've had this really kind of clear 100-point range with the trend moving up. So actually my bearish scenario for the day was going to be losing this trend line and these kind of other trend lines down here, targeting the 53.32 and down here to 55.16 and into the 5,500 century mark, which we're literally doing right now. So that's a little bit of a problem in my plan. So one thing I want to watch is this going to be a fake out, and will we quickly reclaim? The reclaim's really got to be above 55.50 for me to even consider my bullish scenario again, or even the chop, because we can end up chopping in here. So my bullish scenario and my chop scenario is all kind of back here above 5,500. Above 55.50, because then down here around 5,500, there's just there's kind of some more danger. If we keep getting below that, I'm basically watching these lows. So we had the low from Monday that was just below 5,500. So that would be a target. I've got this low down here around 54.80. So I would really just be taking this level by level if we keep charging lower, probably really down to this 54.50. At one of these levels, we're going to find some buyers. And this is the one that I'm kind of watching at. If we manage to get all the way down to it, I would expect to find buyers down here around this 54.50 mid-century. So if we end up back in the chop, that would be getting back over the 55.50 and hanging around kind of this area 55.50 up to 55.80, 55.85. This is kind of where I'm expecting a lot of chop if price ends up back in there. If we start clearing the 55.80, 85 and this high over here from yesterday, that's when we really get into this big yellow gap zone, and price can take off. We can start really scaring some shorts in here and start getting some lift off in here. So my bullish scenario would be if we get back above 55.50 and get through this chop zone up into there. That might be something that happens later in the week too, so I'm watching it. We do have more data coming at 10. I think it was PCE. Let me double check. Yeah, PCE at 10, so we've got to watch out for that. And Trump talking tonight. So there's a lot on the ES, and I kind of want to hear about NASDAQ before we head over to the chart of the day too. I didn't get to see Forrest's chart for NASDAQ.
Oh yeah, let's take a peek. Got to get to the right time frame to start. All right, so weekly, this is that kind of two nodes that I've been talking about over and over again because it's still the context that we're in, right? High volume, weekly, bounce to the other side. We're chopping up into this other shelf on the weekly, but you can see here, these weekly bars are barcoding, right? They're overlapping between these two nodes. So we did traverse this, right? We exhausted kind of the edge of this auction, and we're coming back in a little bit. Go to the 4-hour chart. Take a little look. You can see we have a nice bar. It's coming for all of these lows here, very similar to what Barbie was just talking about. I have a downside first target at 19,053.75, right? Just like, let's call that TP1. I don't know where that label went. Down here, if we don't get down to here, right? And we could even have, I could see us even come for this low if today gets real nasty. It is the last day of the month, I think. Is it? Or do we have one more day? Yeah, it's the last day of the month. So the monthly candle is closing with today's price action. You got to keep that in mind. So let's actually take a look at the monthly. Monthly right now, very high volume bottom wick, red close. So in order for us to flip the monthly green, we need to go above like 353. Let's take a look at the daily. Yeah, it's definitely within reason for the monthly. So knowing that the monthly is going to close, it's high volume bottom wick. It's really a question between a red close on the monthly or a green close on the monthly. If we get a green close on that monthly, I mean, that's full on just, go long, in my opinion. Back to the lowers. I know we're jumping around here. I want to see if we're going to build volume on the session volume profile at these lows here and continue. Okay, so let's go to a real low time frame. We'll go to the 15. Right now, we do have this continuation pattern. There is some volume building here at the lows. And so even though we have data at 10, if this doesn't start to reclaim probably like 305 on this lower structure, then it's probably just going to do the next leg down here. Let's go ahead and do a little measured move action for you guys. Okay, it's 307-point move. And we'll probably get another one right past my 19,053 level. This is my TP1 on the macro. Yeah, I like it. So that's like my downside wave. Upside, we just clear these highs. You know, this low liquidity grab will go and we'll smoke those highs.
I like how you pointed out that we're at the end of the week or end of the month too. So the last trading day of the month, you have to kind of watch out for people closing out things and rebalancing things. And by people, I mean like the big funds that can move the market.
Yeah.
So that's something I'm always on watch for the last day of the month too. What it ends up looking like on our charts is the big wicks.
The last day of the month are also some of, you know, I call them gamma trades, but these are trades that'll get you like, you know, 50, 100x on like zeros. Super risky, but there are certain days, like, again, if you can get a weekly and a monthly close on a Friday, right? Those tend to be really excellent options trades. There's a free tip for you guys, if you can remember. It rarely happens, but there you go.
Forrest, I have a question for you.
Lay it on me.
What do you do when a big move happens before you execute your trade?
I ask myself this question: is the market going to be open tomorrow? Answer is yes, and so you just get it next time. You know, there's nothing you can like. There's literally no reason to have FOMO. FOMO is a stupid feeling or emotion, guys. Like the market has been open for thousands of days before you started trading, and unless the world ends, is going to be open next time. So
there
instead
are
of trying
always
to, like,
more opportunities.
yeah, not to mention all the opportunities that we're missing right now because we can't look at every ticker, right? So like it's such a dumb way to think when you think about it, and you just got to stop doing that, right? Ask yourself what an expert trader would do. If you were the best trader that you could be, how would you respond in that situation? And then you probably have the answer, and like that's what you should do. But definitely don't revenge trade and or get in late or chase or any of those things.
Well, I just wanted to say thank you to our viewers and our supporters for being here. Please don't forget to hit the like button and share the live so more people can see. And then also, it's open. I think we will take some questions from you guys. If you have any questions that you would like Forrest or Barbie to answer, now it's the time to add your question on the chat.
I did see one that I wanted to kind of start with. Someone was asking me what does a reclaim of 55.50 look like? And basically, I mean, obviously the price will be over 55.50, but I'm always watching price action to get my clues. So, you know, right now we've got these little price action candles where we had like an impulsive move where we have big, strong candles. And then when they start weakening and showing little dojis, those are weaker candles. So if we're going to reclaim 55.50, I want to see strong candles through it and not these little weak candles that are weak when we get there. So if we have a strong candle through it, a retest would even be great. If we retest and then hold and get back into that 55.50, those are the kind of things that I'm working for. Sometimes you can have a fake out. Sometimes it'll move over and look like it's real strong and fake out. And that's why we have stop losses and contingency plans.
I like it. Smart.
Okay, so couple things. One, I want to ask a question to the chat of what your bias is for the day. I'm creating a poll now. Bias for day. It's going to be bullish, bearish, and then I'm just here for education. How's that, guys? Just here for education. That's acceptable answer. Two, Barbie, so you're talking about the retest at the 5,500 level. Does that suggest that your bias for today is more bullish than bearish?
You know, I've had a really hard time with bias today because I always come up with my bullish scenario Here, let me go back over here to this chart. I always come up with my bullish scenario and my bearish scenario and my choppy scenario, and we've already played out that bearish scenario. So at this point, I would be looking for almost to kind of fade that play. So, okay, we got that bearish play down here. Let me show it on the chart. So I keep jumping around here, sorry. But so if my bearish play was to come down here and target 5,500 and possibly even these other lows down here around 54.80, I want to see that play is finished, and then we could potentially fade that move that we've already had overnight. So it does make the morning a little bit more tricky. So it's harder to put a bias on the day. We're still inside of this kind of wider choppy zone. So it's hard to get a strong bias, but that is something that I'm definitely going to be watching for is can we reclaim these lows down here that we just put in and start moving back higher and fade that initial move down that we had.
Okay. Forrest, same question to you on bias.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess I'll even hop you and I'll say, chat, we got 250 votes in already. I don't know how long it was, like 120 seconds ago. We got 41% bearish, 39% bullish, 20% for education. Yeah, split group.
Here's what I would say. So there's a very clear pattern that we have. All right, let's just get rid of some of our VP. We have highs, higher highs, higher high, higher high, low, higher low, still a higher low. So we need to either break this pattern on the low side here. So we'll crack and we'll do a lower low, right? Which will be a break of structure, or we'll do a lower high, right? With the lower low, right? Just a very clear break in structure will signal us going lower, most likely. We do have volume getting built here at the lows because it's not the open yet, and this is still a higher low. There is a good chance that this mean reverts all the way up to the POC at 55.72. I didn't realize I was on ES. It's literally the same thing on NQ though, right? That this mean reverts to the POC. Okay, 19,567. So little node getting built here. If they can keep building value here lower, we'll do another leg down to that downside target. So yeah, I think if we're gonna bounce here, it's gonna be right around the open, most likely. I don't really have a strong bias though.
7 minutes out.
Yeah, the only thing is like I'm still on the weekly looking for us to retest more of this previous week. Otherwise, we would close today like pretty strong green in my opinion. If this like downside fails, it just makes sense. It doesn't really make sense for us to have a small. Maybe I'm just completely wrong, but just like a small green day if we go green.
Okay.
I'm ready for some action too. I want some drama. So we just have to have the market set it up.
I'm going to bring it to stocks in a second here, guys. Preview. You don't know that I'm going to ask you about that, but I am. We've got some big stocks today. Before that, I want to give a little preview for all of you out there watching, all of you beautiful people, this family that we're forming. I don't know if family is too presumptive, but last week we did tell you that we love you and you said you love us back. And, I started to feel something and, I really did. We have as many as 300 people watching getting free giveaways today. As many as 300. That is not a guarantee of 300. That is in as many as 300. It's like the speed limit, 60 miles an hour. You don't have to drive 60. You could drive 40 and you'd be just fine. Okay. In order to get those giveaways unlocked, we're at 537 on our YouTube channel now. I'm looking for 700 for our first round. 700 viewers for our first round. We're going to set another technical level, a key level, based on likes. We'll do that one next, and we will get there. So if you would like to win a batch, be one of the group to win a batch of not free resets, but free accounts, share, log in with your grandma's computer, log in with 6 devices, like the stream, comment in the stream. We're going for 700. That is the level to beat, folks. You got to copy the URL, paste it into your Discord, share away. Further, if you have not subscribed to this channel yet, now is your chance. You need to be a subscriber on the channel to be eligible to win. Everybody's asking, what's the account type? What is the code? I'm not telling you. Build the suspense. Make it special. And then some of you are like, free resets. No free accounts. And some of you are like, we need free accounts, not no resets. This is the reason why I wasn't there yesterday. Okay? I got burnt out of all the hate and harassment when all I'm trying to do is tee up Barbie and Forrest to deliver some education, give out some free giveaways as a thank you for being a part of this family. But I just get bullied in the chat so much I had to take a day off to recuperate. So with that, I'm going to ask about some stocks. I'm also going to put a link in the chat to get 20% off resets. So if you want resets, 20% off. Link is in the chat with the code. It's Reset Fun. I made the code. I think it's the best coupon code that we've ever had. It's fun. Resets are fun. 20% off resets are even more fun. But Barbie, over to you. We got big earnings after the close today. I'm taking a look right now. We got Microsoft, Meta, Robinhood, Qualcomm. That's pretty much it. But those are some good ones, some fun ones. How are you approaching them? Anything stand out?
So I will sometimes get a little gambly in the options market on earnings. I've not been hitting them really hard this week. I've been more trying to use these as a gauge of what's going on in the indexes. Because like we were just talking about, where we've really kind of been at this inflection point, and it's like, well, are we going to move higher or lower? And we've just been in a holding pattern. And every quarter we're waiting on these big tech earnings. So I am just watching a lot of these. They do have room to move, but the way I look at it is it's a lottery ticket. So and a lot of these options get really, really juiced coming into earnings. So I have to look at it as a lottery ticket. And some of these lottery tickets are $1,000, $2,000, and it doesn't make a ton of sense. But there are always some opportunities. I like watching how the tech stocks affect the market in general, and can they ease some fears, because that's been the kind of the overlying theme of the market coming off of all the trade war headlines and everything. The sentiment is fear. Can we quell some of those fears and make everyone feel a little bit better if we have good earnings, and especially guidance, because that'll be the key thing here. We're expecting earnings to be lower for the first quarter than they were in quarter four, because that always happens. We've got the holidays and everything, things slow down. Then we also have all of this other stuff going on with the tariffs. So the guidance is going to be the most important. So not just their earnings for the quarter, but what they're expecting coming forward because of how the tariffs could potentially be affecting them.
Okay. Forrest, you're an NQ trader. That stands
Mostly.
for Ninja Qualified. Like you're
Never quit.
You're doing the real big stuff.
Yeah.
These big tech stocks are obviously huge components of NQ. How does it change how you're trading when you know these are coming after the close today?
For me, I'm gonna give you a really boring answer. It doesn't. I don't care about earnings. I don't pay attention to the numbers or the values at all. If I play earnings, I do play earnings, like let's just say every 1 out of 100 earnings, I'll play it, usually because people in my community are like, beating my door down to give my opinion on something. It's just, to me, like if I wanted to play earnings, honestly, I'd play it with options. Anyways, like I wouldn't necessarily trade futures, and I don't really like to gamble. So, yeah,
you can leave that one to me and Luke. We'll go do the gambling. You could be sensible.
Yeah, I honestly, like, so if you ever asked me, like, you guys were telling when the earnings were happening, I was like, that's news to me. Like, I don't really pay attention to the earnings calendars and things like that anymore.
I have actually played futures at night off of these earnings things. I think Nvidia was the last one I played, because we had a massive move, and I looked at it as an overreaction move, so then I faded the earnings reaction on the indexes. So there are ways that you could play the indexes based on the earnings in the evening. You have to be trading in the evening, but.
All right, folks, we are opened. I'm not going to ask for your opinions on the open just quite yet. We need to let's get a few candles formed in there. So what I would like to do is every single day, everyone out there watching, we deliver on education. We not only want to talk about charts and ideas and setups and your questions, but we want to be intentional with a segment of education that we think will help to make you a better trader. We do this 5 days a week, every day that we're on here. So what I'd like to do is ask Barbie to take us through her educational segment, and then let's come back and look at the open. This is a pretty pivotal open, I'd say. And last but not least, we're looking for 700, guys. Then I got some hookups.
I hope we're getting close.
We're getting there.
Okay, so I wanted to talk about risk versus reward. I saw this question come up a lot in the chat, but we didn't really get it answered the other day. And I just wanted to kind of show a different approach. I know a lot of, what everyone's asking me is what is my risk to reward? So they're looking for a 1-to-1, 1-to-2, 1-to-3, and I actually don't look at it like that at all. So I'm going to show you kind of how I approach this, because it's based on my account size and it's based on what the market is doing. Those are the things that are going to determine if I'm going to blow an account because I don't have enough room for a trade, and that's just where all the math comes. If the market doesn't have a 1-to-2 or 1-to-3 move in it, then why am I going to put a 1-to-2, 1-to-3 trade on? So let me just show you what I'm talking about, and I'm going to try to find some example trades in here just so I can give you something to look at here. So here's one that I'm just looking on the 5-minute. I'm just looking for like a really simple setup that I can show you, and what I see is kind of this classic little trend line break, because this is one that we can put a stop loss on and a take profit. So what we can do is, so if we have, this is kind of like we've got the impulsive trend move up, then a little break down, and then we have the first candle moving back in the right direction. So this is going to be my entry candle. And what I'll do is after this candle is formed, I'm going to give you just the really quick strategy because I have videos on this on my channel, but I'm going to be looking for this level to be the entry level, and then my stop is going to be the bottom of that candle. And then I want to have meat on the bone. This is the only way I look at it. I want the green area to be bigger than the red area. As long as the green area is bigger than the red area, then I'm good. I usually use my quants as targets, and I do have a quant all the way up here, but I also have this swing level here, so I'm just going to use that one for this example. So on ES, now I can look at this trade, and I can see that there were 11.25 points on it. I really didn't pull this up ahead of time or anything. We're just literally going to do this math live on it. So this is when I think about what is the amount that I can lose per trade, and I've kind of gone through this and calculated this myself. This is based on the account size. I trade multiple accounts, so if you're trading an eval, you may not have as much room as with the larger account. You need to be taking all of that into account. So I'm just going to use $500 as the example. So let's say our max loss per trade is $500. So on the ES, if my stop loss is 11.25 points, and I can lose up to $500 on this trade, that gives me 10 points. I can lose 10 points. Well, the stop loss is more than 10 points. So now I know that I can't take an ES in there. I'm going to have to switch down to micros. So I'll figure out how many micros I can use to get 11.25 points. So I'll literally just get my calculator out and figure that out. Can I take 8 of them? I actually don't have the calculator on me. Y'all can do that for me if you want. But let's say it's 8. So I can take 8 micros at this level, at the 55.51 level for the break of this play. So that'll keep it within my risk to reward down here, where I'm not losing more than $500. And then I can start targeting. So that first target is at 19.25 points. So there I have a decent target. I can decide if I'm going to take all 8 off there or if I want to trail. If I don't have room or mental capacity or whatever to trail, I'm just going to take everything off at the first target. But if I do have the second target, let's say we got that first target over here. So now we're going to go for the second target up here at this quant level. I'm going to show you how I trail this. So some people don't trail because if you are taking some off here and some off here, your risk is always down here. But if you want to trail, the way that I look at it is I want to take more than half off at the first target. So if I took 8, it has to be more than 4. And I'm probably going to lean it as close to 3/4 as possible because that just helps with the math. But so if I take 6 off at the first target, then I have 2 runners that I can target up here to this quant at 55.91. That's a whole 40 points, 40 ES points away. But what I'll do is once we take 6 off at this first level, then I have to move the entry because of the way that TradingView works. But I would just literally move my stop. Let me do it. All the way up here to break even. So I'm going to move the entry and the stop. So that's now our risk is all the way up here for these last 2 runners to go get them all the way up to those 40 points. So instead of just looking at everything as 1-to-1, if I had just looked at this as 1-to-1, then my entry's there and my stop would be way down here. Maybe my account can't take that. And so, well, this never works for me when I try to drag these back out. But if my stop was just a 1-to-1 based on the 21 points down here, it's going to be way down here. That's not based on anything that the market's giving me. It's just arbitrary. And I don't want an arbitrary stop. I want something that's real based on the actual candle price action. And then I figure out how much risk my actual account can take. So I hope that made sense. I do have a longer video on it on my channel if you want to go watch that. But just a different way to look at risk that for me, it makes more sense. I hope that helps y'all.
Good.
I'm looking for Luke. Oh, we got Adona.
It's me. Yes, it's me. All right.
I was thinking the reset guy, but we got the reset gal.
Yes, we did, but we're not there yet. I'm
Not
looking.
there
Hey,
yet.
we're at 6. Yeah, we're at 600 right now.
Oh, I
so-
thought I saw 700. Not quite. Okay, guys, keep going.
No,
Share it
not
in your
quite.
Discord.
Yeah, keep going, guys. We are almost there. Almost there. All right. Well, Forrest, I did have a question for you that I saw on the comments, and I thought it was a pretty good question. So maybe you
Lay it on me.
Forrest, do you pay attention to volume divergence when planning trades?
Always. So in my system, the only candles that I count or really care about are candles with significantly higher volume to the previous close, right? So, and there are a few time periods where that's always going to be the case. So like the 10 a.m. candle is always going to be a high volume candle. So the way I think about it is I want to see whenever people show up to play the game, like what does the auction look like? So that's like the first candle where a bunch of volume is coming. But yeah, even if you're looking at like the 15, you want to look for candles with higher volume, right? And those are my signal candles. I'm actually just watching this. So we built this little shelf here. We're pushing lower. TP1 is down at 19,053. So just watching a little short here that I've been peeking at. But yeah, volume is I mean, all volume is 100% of how I trade, right? That's why I'm watching this, like this node, the fact that we're building this node at the lows. I just mentioned this earlier. It's a continuation sign, right? The auction, we didn't just come down here and bottom wick. Okay, they kept ranging down at this node at this key level here on both ES and NQ, and now it's pushing lower. So someone asked yesterday about trending price action. Like this is literally, I described it yesterday. This is what you want to see for that continuation. You want to see that volume get built for a continued push. And let's see how close we get down here to 19,053. We'll see if we get it. But that was Friday low swept. I got this other low coming up on ES 54.80.25. Probably get a little reaction to it there. But yes.
Nice. Did you want to did you want to do like a trade recap from the previous day?
Previous day,
Did you have any good
there
trades
wasn't.
yesterday?
Not really. Yesterday, not really. No, yesterday was kind of janky. Monday was a really good day for me, so I had a perfect Monday. Yesterday, no. Yesterday there weren't really there. At least for me, there weren't any A setups yesterday. Right, there was one. Right, so there was this high volume green candle that closed. Hold on, I gotta close this. Hold on, sorry. I gotta watch this trade. Hold on, guys. We're going.
Yeah, that's
We
what
are
we're getting quite the little dump through here.
Yeah, I'm in full leverage on this one, so I need to pay attention.
So yeah, we're breaking that low that I was watching on ES, which I don't have up on my chart right now, but I can get it
Let's
ready.
go. I'm gonna buy some more carbon fiber. Let's go. All right,
We're watching Forrest make money right now.
It's tense.
I can't. What was the question? What was the question?
Forrest is too busy getting rich. We were talking about the trades from yesterday.
Oh yeah.
No question right now.
Yeah. So yesterday, okay.
Come on, Forrest.
Yesterday there's these key levels that we care about. Okay, there's overnight low, boom, Friday high, boom, and there's this Friday low here. Okay, these are the key levels that we care about. That's where we look to interact. So this 8 a.m. candle, my replay tool just exploded, I think. Come on. No.
Let's try.
All right, let's retry it. TradingView doesn't want me to review yesterday's prior day action either.
It's still running this morning.
I know,
Forrest.
dude.
That is just
all right.
going.
So Forrest, like,
All
what
right,
are
so
you watching for? You're watching this candle. I mean, this is hot content right now. What are you watching?
This is I'm looking forward to get to my first TP here, 19,054. So we built this shelf. It's gonna do that measured move. Remember that measured move that I mentioned earlier, right? From here into the consolidation, and then I did the extension, right? Like it's going to do that, and conveniently it comes down to like 19,053. It's going to get pretty close. So because we started moving out of this node, I could pretty confidently hold, and it's going to go until it hits like the edge of another node here. So we've got, the edge of this node conveniently is with my TP1. If we add in the visible range volume profile, probably find some more liquidity here. I can't remember exactly how I found my level, but I'll arrive at the same conclusion, I'm sure. Yeah, we're just going through this low value here. So there's a lot of confluence there on the volume profile for this to just run pretty close to this target. We did sweep all of these lows here, right? Do you want to call that out? But yeah, we're getting there on ES too. So
yeah, we swept all those lows that I mentioned, because I was looking at all those swing lows on the hourly. We're through all of them now. So we're down into that kind of bigger, well, it was a rally last Thursday. So we're back into that price action. So we are kind of out of that main chop zone that we've been in. We're testing the daily 21 EMA on ES.
Yeah. I do have a level here. I don't know why it's not showing up on this screen, but on my phone at 19,133.75, and we just bottom ticked it to the penny.
Yeah, we're almost to the 21 on NASDAQ too. That's it's right above 19,000. Quite the drop. So this one's more a dramatic drop. Like earlier, I wasn't that impressed. 70 points didn't impress me. Now I'm starting to get impressed.
Okay. So let me ask this one for the chat. Is anybody in this short right now? If you are, don't care what index it is, but if you are, throw me a 1 in the chat. I just want to get a pulse on where we're at. And Forrest, going to you with this one. You normally like to trade the 4-hour and 2-hour candles.
Yeah.
You took a trade a little bit off the open rather than waiting for 10 a.m. Why? What drove that decision making?
Good question. So, not necessarily off the open. This is more so off of yesterday's close. This short setup. So, if we saw, let's go to yesterday's close. All right, look at this very obvious pattern that we have here, by the way, right? Where are we in the relative? I'm not even going to use the actual line tool. I think squiggles are better in this case. We're near the highs of this. Let's just call it a channel. Whatever you trade is a very obvious zig and the zag. So we're in the zig. So a very obvious zag is coming. So you should have just like shorted based off of having eyesight yesterday.
We've
We're
been
also,
talking about
again,
that channel over and over. Yeah.
Yeah, on the weekly, same thing. We traversed that node completely, so it was looking to come back. So that's kind of where the short thesis comes from. Now, for this morning, as we approach this morning, we'll go to the 1 hour, and I'm jumping around a lot of time frames here. Let's get out of replay. For this morning, we had that node that was building, so that's where you get the continuation. This could be pretty scary, especially at like 9:15, right? You have this node that's building. Some of that is experience too. Like it really matters how the candles close. So let's go to the 15. I called out a level here on this small structure. You can see I have a line here. It barely came up to this other candle right here. So as it's ranging, you want to pay attention to how it's ranging, right? Is it like ranging bearishly? Is it hugging the bottom side? And you can see that in this range on the 15, there's 1 green bar, 3 red bars, right? So yeah, just look for where volume is being built and how it's being built, how fast it's being built. Okay, does it happen in 15 minutes? Does it happen in 4 hours? And you can get some intuition about the next wave.
All right. Barbie, what do you think of celebrating Forest's trade here with some free accounts?
Let's do it.
Thought I was going to get a car. You had me hyped up, man.
Somebody
We'll
in the
get to
chat
this
did
car
ask
later.
what car you drive.
Mm.
I know you mentioned it before.
It is you can go to my channel and you can see it, but it's a 2025 Hysteria Purple Z06. I actually just bought it. It has like 1,000 miles. It's pretty cool. I got a bunch of car parts I've bought. I've wasted a ton of money on it already. Got some Petone gold wheels coming.
Oh, you got the fast one.
Why would you get the slow one?
Oh.
Yeah, why would I do that? Man?
Low key, I have the slow one. But
oops.
yeah, thanks, Barbie.
Yo, it's fast.
Yeah.
It is fast. It's faster than a GT3. It is fast.
I did race somebody at 8 a.m. this morning. Sort of how I started my day on accident. But alas, let's celebrate Forest. Let's get some free accounts going. We have 934 of you out there watching the stream right now. Again, we don't only deliver on the ideas, the setups, the charts, the questions, the education, and on and on and on and on. But as a thank you for being a part of this community, we do some nice little giveaways every single day. We said if we got to 700 viewers, we would have our first prize of the day. There are more to come. The rules of the road are that you must be a subscriber to this channel to be eligible to win. So if you are not if you're watching on Instagram or Twitter or YouTube, and you are not a subscriber to the MyFundedFutures YouTube channel, you must be a subscriber to be eligible to win your prize. So go and do so now. All right. And the accounts, I'll give you one little hint. It's for 50K Starter Plus accounts. Again, 50K Starter Plus accounts. Be ready. 50 of you are going to be winners. Code is going on the screen now. Boom. Live only 50. Code live only 50. 50 of you are winning free 50K Starter Plus accounts. One of our most popular accounts that we offer. Again, MyFundedFutures is the transparent, the trustworthy, the straightforward prop firm. We have no activation fees ever for anyone. And today, we even have free accounts for you. Called Live Only 50 is on the page. If you got it, give us a shout in the chat. Let us know that you got it. And
some of them got it. I saw some people get it. I think it's gone already.
It goes pretty
Y'all are so fast.
Awesome. Well, thank you guys. Everyone who gave the code a try, I appreciate it. again, we want to not only help you with the content we're providing, but we like to do these giveaways as a thank you for being here and for being a member of My Funded Futures. We've got a pinned chat that has a code for 20% off resets. So go ahead and use that and the associated link to grab some discounted resets. For all you asking there about resets, okay, at least I got you a code. And next up, we're looking for 1,100 viewers. With that, Forrest, I'm going to pass it back to you, and let's take a look at your chart and see, over the last 5 minutes, how has this progressed?
So we're building more volume lower. Okay. You can see that is another node that's forming on ES and NQ. My chart's getting a little messy now. I don't like that. Let's get rid of that. So this prior day low got swept. We can get rid of that. Alert already hit. You can see my TP still down here. So we're still building volume. What's interesting about this is if we build a lot of volume here, just because of, the way that I measure, at least, we're going to crack through my first price target by quite a bit. So we'll bleed into that. But let's see. We need to see this wick probably get like 90% retested. And not, like there's this 50 fib retest on this wick right here. It's just really important how this volume gets built. Okay. I'm throwing a lot at you guys, but that's what I'm watching right now. I'm really astutely watching both of these. And are we building value lower, right? This means sell side aggressors are the ferocity of the competition on the sell side is just going to continue to outweigh the ferocity of the competition on the buy side, right? People say buyers versus sellers. It's really sellers versus sellers and buyers versus buyers. And then which competition is like who has more aggressors, like market aggressors to move the market. But and you can see that in the candle formation. So that's what I'm thinking. That's what I'm watching for. You can see ES is building lower. So yeah, I think we're gonna get this little continuation to my first target here. Nothing else. I can zoom out again and say the same stuff, but hires haven't really changed in this regard.
Thank you, Forrest. I'm seeing everyone in the chat, and some people are disappointed they didn't get a free account, but we just
you guys are
want to
too slow.
Yeah.
Type faster. Get good.
Or just be
Go
more
practice the
specific, I
sniping
guess.
skills.
I could only imagine it's a stressful thing, but we do have some more things coming for you guys, so stay tuned. And we also have a very special guest joining us very soon. But until then, I guess we have a few minutes to, I don't know, what are you guys feeling? Like, what do we feel like we need to give today to our
chat? What do you guys want to know about?
Yeah.
Ask me something good. Don't waste my time on those stupid questions. Give me the smart questions.
Yeah.
The bearish scenario is just falling right into our hands here today.
Yeah, I saw a bearish flag.
We have, so they're wondering how you can tell if we're going to range or, get into a choppy mode or trend. And I don't think that there's like a magic 8 ball that we can shake pre-market and go, okay, it's trend day. So that's why, from my perspective, I watch the actual levels of where the range is. And then once we break it, that's when we know we're out of the range. So the most obvious ranges that we can watch, we got the pre-market. So we got pre-market low there, and we actually got through that before we even opened. So that was kind of the first clue that the market was not really wanting to go bearish. That's why my bullish scenario was only if we have a reclaim, like it's got to be a fake out, because we were already in that bearish mode. So we can look for the pre-market highs and pre-market lows to be broken. And then the next clue is the previous day's highs and lows, because you'll hear people talk about inside days and outside days. An inside day is a range day and an outside day is a trend day. And outside just means we go outside the previous price action. So that was it right there. We had the first clue breaking the pre-market low, and the second one was breaking yesterday's low. But then that's what I was mentioning too. I was watching the previous day's lows too. We had Monday's low and even Friday's low. Those were all kind of my next targets down there.
Nice. I guess this is a good time for you guys to share your social media and where people can find you.
Yeah. So you can find me right here on YouTube, Trading with Forrest, your #1 volume profile based trader, what I call the VPE, just made it up. If you're wondering why you never heard about it, well, you're the first to know. Lucky you. But yeah, trading with Forrest on Instagram, Forrest_the_investor. And that's really the only 2 places you can find me right now.
Hint, hint. You can also see his car.
Yeah.
Yeah, check it out.
So I'm mostly here on YouTube, Bull Barbie Trading. You'll find that. And then, like I was mentioning, I just had the video on the risk to reward. So I a lot of the times I'll have a longer version of what I talked to you here about, so we can get into more detail on it. And then I'm also on Instagram, bull.barbie. That's less trading stuff and more personal life stuff. That's kind of where I've decided to put that. And then of course on Discord, I'm on the Trading Ranch, which is discord.gg/trading ranch.
Awesome.
Well, thank you, Shane.
We are getting some good questions in the chat, I noticed. I do have a Discord as well if you want to learn about volume profile. My buddy Soul is in there every day. A bunch of other great traders talk about VP and learn how to trade in general. Here's that little push lower. Just cracked that low, 19,133. Give it to me, baby.
15-minute.
Go.
Yeah, are we in the opening range? No, this is a longer range.
Let's go.
Never mind. Don't listen to me right now.
Let's go.
No, this is kind of that opening range. We had the 1, 2, 3 candles. This is our opening range breakout here too on ES. I don't have it pulled on NASDAQ. So this little bear flag that's on the, what am I on, the 5-minute? This little bear flag that's breaking is also breaking our opening range. I told you I'm always kind of watching this. I have it on another chart. That's my gap box. So let's put the white one on here and we can see that's the opening range right there. So we're breaking out of that too. Another bearish signal on the day.
Oh man, I just had a
Yeah,
thought.
I was trying to type that into my Discord, but they caught it. They were watching for it too. So
yeah, we got news in a few minutes. Someone was asking about how do we adjust trading when people are out in the summer. I don't think that's really.
I don't think it's just slower. So it's like any other slower market, right? So you have to check and see what your kind of, how much meat you have on the bone for your trades to figure out your sizing, like I was just talking about. So I might have to have more sizing on a slower summer day to get the same kind of move that I'm looking for. But
I did get a question about Forrest on volume footprint. How do you feel about that?
The volume footprint?
Mm-hmm.
I don't use it. The only thing I use, guys, is what is on my screen right now. Normally, like you can't really see me if I have my normal large monitor, but I have a large monitor with like all my charts, and they all look exactly like this. They just have these 2 indicators on them. It's 2 flavors of the volume profile, and then I do some levels. That's literally all I use nowadays, guys. It's super simple. For the better or for worse.
For footprint, yeah, you have to have like a whole separate chart. That's why I've messed with footprint a little bit too, but that was my frustration with it, is I was having to give like a whole half of a screen to it, and it wasn't valuable enough to me to give that much screen real estate to, because there are other tools that I could use. And I guess like you probably are just using the volume profile. And for me, I like to watch a different way to watch the order flow. You can watch it on the footprint, but you can also watch it on the cumulative delta, which is my favorite way to watch it. You can also watch it on level 2 and all sorts of different ways. So in my opinion, I'm kind of taking over your question a little bit, but if you like footprint and it speaks to you, it's worth having on your chart. But any way that you can get that information, if there's a better way you can get that information that takes up less space, that's the way I look at it.
Yeah, I mean, most volume-based indicators I might be able to get on board with. It really is about simplification for me. And also, like, I know I'm looking for that 10 a.m., which just happened right now. We have all red candles, by the way, at 10. 4 hours going to be red, 2 hours going to be red. It's all red, right? And we're real close to my downside price target, 19,053.75. So really, I'm just looking to for us to hit that here. We did get news. I think it was tier 2. data.
PCE should be tier 1.
Was it?
But
What came out?
it's coming boring, I guess.
Oh
We
yeah,
had
core
pending home
PCE.
sales. That was tier 2.
So core PCE
But
just came out.
home sales came out good, and PCE came out not. So we're whatever. Got conflicting data.
We're peeling back a little bit here.
So I did get a question about your trading style. Scalping, swing, or day trading?
Why not all of them? That's kind of the way I look at it. There's setups for scalping, there's setup for swing tradings, there's setup for longer day trades. And if I limit myself to just looking for scalps today, you know, what good is that? Some days set themselves up better for scalps, and some days set up better for longer day trades. My favorite is usually like a 45-minute day trade. I've been taking a lot more scalps lately just because the market moves so fast. I can get it done faster. But yeah, it depends on what idea you're trying to capture, if you want to scalp it or do a longer day trade or swing it.
Yeah. I prefer, like, the way that I like to trade ideally is like I can get in a trade and like immediately leave my desk. So even this trade right now, because it's a trending, it's a trade I have to watch, which is like my least favorite kind of way to trade. Luckily for you guys, I have to be on here streaming anyways. But yeah, like for me, like if I see a setup, if I see a signal like the short I took on Monday, or like this long, the 1 hour long that was set up yesterday, like, you know, it's going to traverse the other side of whatever node you're in, and you can just set your bracket and like you can just go outside and never look. Like those setups are always, at least, you know, for me, they're always going to hit. But I really only have, like, I guess technically 3 setups, right? There's like the trending setups, but yeah, my playbook is 2 plays. So when they're there, I just set them. I, you know, could leave for hours, and that's how I prefer to trade. I don't really like having to watch a trade work out or feel the need to. And that the shorter that you go on a time frame, the more you're gonna have to do that, in my opinion.
I just saw somebody asked if I get a bias on the day based on the overnight price action. I can answer that one. And the short answer is not necessarily. I can. So today was one of those where it kind of set up. Yesterday did not. So today, since we swept that overnight low, I mean, I'm calling this the overnight low, and it wasn't, because we had that pre-market. Pre-market is what actually put in the low. But we had the kind of Asian session and London session low. Like they kind of agreed that this was the low. And then it was our pre-market that took that out. So because our pre-market is the one that took out the rest of the world's ES trading, that was kind of a bearish signal for me. So that's what I was talking about. And it's also the way I approach the market kind of sets me up to know I don't have to have a full bias on the day necessarily. I can just wait and see if we're going to hit my bullish scenario, the bearish one, or the chop scenario. So today we hit that bearish scenario really early, so that way I was able to have a bias pre-market. But yesterday I really didn't, because yesterday we had just the pre-market high up here and the pre-market low down here, and we just barely retested, you know, peeked through that pre-market low and then came right back into kind of that same mess. And I guess that would kind of lean towards a choppy scenario, but that has me just waiting and see, because we could still break those lows, we could still break those highs. So things can happen later in the day, and I don't want to have a bias that's so set that I can't be fluid and change. So that's why I always lay out my plans with the different scenarios, so that it helps me switch, I guess, when I need to.
Thank you, Barbie. Thank you to both of you guys. I got some comments about the content being so great today. So I really appreciate all of your input. All right. Well, it's my favorite time of the day, because we have a very special guest joining us today. So of course, your questions are always welcome, but we would like to welcome him in. His name is Zamco Capital.
Hello.
Hello. Yes, we can hear you. How are you doing today?
Yeah, I'm doing well, thank you. How are you guys?
We're doing really
Doing
well.
good.
Yeah. We're happy to be here and to have you. Okay, Zam. So I know, my first question. I guess, how did you get into trading? How long have you been a trader?
I've been trading for 7 years now. I got into trading when, so basically back in 2017, I was in college. And that's where my friend introduced me to trading through IML, which was like a pyramid scheme nonsense back then. And so that's kind of what got me introduced. And then I went on to actually learn it myself rather than stick with the affiliate side of things. And for 7 years, I've been trading. 5 of those years have been with personal capital, which I've been unprofitable with. And on my 5th and 6th year, I started prop firms, and now I'm on my 7th year. And my first ever payout with prop firms was back last year in April. And so far, I've done over 400,000 in prop firm payouts.
Nice.
Wow.
Good job.
I have another question for you. What
Sure.
does the transitioning look like from a beginner to a profitable trader?
I think the transition, it's very, very painful. I think that's what the transition looks like. You see a lot of down times. You see a lot of tears, maybe. I mean, I've cried quite a few times in this journey. So a lot of crying, a lot of pain, a lot of regret, not regret, rather frustration, anger. It's very, 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 what's the word? It's quite hard on your psychology and your body as well. Like, it really does affect you quite negatively. But once you finally push through all of that hardship, I think that transition is really beautiful. You get to a point where you get this mental freedom, like you're free and you feel like you can do anything.
Wow, that's amazing. Okay, let me check the chat and see if. Oh wow. Okay, I'm sure we'll have something for you guys coming soon. We've reached some news. Okay, well, and do you lean towards day trading more or swing trading?
More day trading. I don't really swing trade anymore. I used to, but not anymore. I kind of just intraday, same day. I just want to get in and out.
Makes sense. Well, these are our expert traders, Bull, Barbie, and Forrest. Knight.
What's up?
Yeah, man. What's up?
If you guys have any questions for Zam, please go ahead.
Yeah, well, so I'm not familiar with your trading, but I heard that you have kind of a different approach. So I was kind of wondering what your approach is and how it might be different from the rest of ours.
Sure. So basically, I look at, first of all, higher time frame direction. First, we need to know that. So daily candles, 4 hours, just kind of looking at where the price is going. So when a new daily candle opens up, it's going to make a bottom wick.
Sorry to interrupt, Zam. Sorry. Actually, since we're talking about this, maybe we can just go ahead and see your chart. I'll invite Luke in, actually, for that.
Okay, so you want me to share my chart?
Yes, please.
Sure.
Awesome.
Chart now.
There we go. I have to have the visual too, so. There it is.
You guys can see it? Cool.
Got
It's
it.
there.
Right. Cool. So I actually took multiple trades today. So let me just talk about the NASDAQ one in the morning. Currently I'm in NASDAQ buys, but we'll see how that goes. Basically, so I start off with the day looking at the Asian range. So when the Asian range opens up, so this is a new daily candle, and we see it's starting to push down. So that to me signifies we're potentially making the bottom wick for the daily candle to then flip bullish. And basically during Asian session, when we start pushing down, I'm looking for buys, any sort of break or structure to the upside. And once we start breaking structure to the upside, I kind of drop to the lower time frame areas and then I just look at fair value gap. So this is the trade that I took today. So what happened was Asian session started pushing bearish, making the daily bottom wick. Once we started breaking structure to the upside, breaking these highs, then I was kind of just looking for a nice fair value gap to enter. And that was over here. Once we had a really strong impulsive 5-minute push up, marked out my fair value gap, and my entry was literally like right here, stop loss below. And I was targeting the Asian highs. And it was a nice 1 to 3 or 1 to 4 almost. And that was the trade that I took this morning. So it's basically higher time frame zones of interest. So whether that be a 4-hour fair value gap or a 15-minute fair value gap, whatever, once price comes into it, I kind of wait for a break of structure to the opposing side and then kind of just follow the trend. So that's pretty much how I go about it. And then obviously that's how I trade my London session. Then I have a different strategy for New York Stock Exchange Open, which is basically the inverse fair value gap model.
So Zamco, real quick. So you trade both sessions? You trade London and New York?
Yeah, typically I trade both.
Okay. Will you fast forward to how you're looking at this New York session? Obviously, we have this break lower. It's something we spent quite a bit of time talking about this morning. But yeah, how did you think about this? Did you put on any positions?
Yeah, sure. Cool. So basically, I'm currently in buys. And the reason for that is if we go to the daily time frame, we can see we have a daily fair value gap right here. And that's the closest fair value gap we have. And the daily candle currently doesn't have much of a top wick. So I'm expecting potentially price to flip bullish and continue up. I don't know if we'll get that, but initially I just want to get this reaction off this daily fair value gap down here. So once we tap into that area, I drop to the 1 minute time frame and I kind of just wait for a market structure shift to the upside. And once we get that, either I could have taken my entry on this inverse fair value gap, which I didn't. I just waited for price to come into this fair value gap. After shifting structure to the upside, once we tapped into there, that's where I took my buy with my stop loss just below. And I'm kind of anticipating price to take out this news high because we had news at 130 and we made this big wick high. So that to me acts like liquidity. So I'm kind of targeting the news highs and kind of expecting buys to all the way up to here.
Wow. All right. So that's where you're at now, and we appreciate the bullish bias. As we were getting the sell-off this morning, how were you looking at it? Were you taking any positions? Were you waiting to see where it would settle? But while we were in that move lower, how do you view the world in these times?
So before this drop, actually, I was looking to sell NASDAQ. I even sent a message to my brother that, look, I'm looking to sell. But price kind of moved quickly before we could even enter, but before I even noticed it. So basically, I was expecting price to sweep this low here. And the reason for that is because we have a fair value gap over here. So initially, I was targeting this this fair value gap here. However, we went right through it. But point was that I was looking to sell to get into this area. And that was all the way up here. And when we were up here pre-NY session, so just at the end of London, basically around 11 a.m., I got a market structure shift to the downside over here. And we had a 15-minute fair value gap over here. And basically, I was looking to sell from up here all the way down to this zone down here to sweep these lows. So my bias was quite bearish because we had swept the Asian highs, and the Asian lows were unswept, and we had these lows over here unswept with a fair value gap sitting down here. So my bias was bearish. But now that we've swept all of that, and now we're tapping into the daily fair value gap, now I'm looking for the reversal, and I believe, we're pushing up quite nicely here. So that's kind of how I base everything. There's higher time frame fair value gaps plus highs and lows that have been unswept and Asian liquidity.
Okay. I want to take a break for a second, Zamco, to celebrate you being here and joining us. This is only our third week of MyFunded TV.
Oh, wow. Really? Nice.
So welcome. You're one of our inaugural guests. We're very happy to have you here. And to celebrate, I'd like to do a round of giveaways for the group.
Lovely. That sounds good.
How about we give 50 people free, not just resets, free accounts, 50K starter plus accounts. How does that sound?
That's my favorite.
That's what we should do? All right.
Yeah.
Everyone who's out there watching, if you don't know, the rules are you must be a subscriber on this YouTube channel to be eligible to win. 50 of you are going to get 50K starter plus accounts for free. not just resets, free accounts. Again, you must be a subscriber to win. Zamco GOAT. I see that on there. I mean, you're making it happen. You're getting us the giveaways.
Let's do it.
Let's
Lovely,
do it.
let's go.
All right. Code is going on the screen now. Must be YouTube subscriber to win. MFTV on air is the code. Again, MFTV on air, MyFundedTV. That's us, the four of us hanging out with you and bringing you charts right now. Code is on the screen. And we might even have one final round of giveaways.
You can tell everyone's going for it because the chat just went silent.
They're ready.
They're all going for it.
Flipboards are ready.
All right. That was our break. Thank you for letting me interrupt you.
Nice.
We got to celebrate when we get a special guest like yourself. We got to celebrate a little bit. So let me ask you a question, and then I'll pass it back to Forrest and Barbie in case they have any questions for you.
Sure.
What would you say is the most? This might be a tough one. Most misunderstood concept by retail traders, like something that folks might talk about or be familiar with, but there's misconceptions or misunderstandings surrounding it.
I'm not really sure. That's a hard one to think about off the top of my head. A misconception. I can think of mistakes people make, but I'm not sure about misconceptions.
Okay. All right. Give me a mistake then.
A common mistake people make. I guess it's not a misconception. People think trading is easy, but it's really not. And I think some advice for that is to approach trading as if it's really, really difficult. So if basically approach trading knowing it's difficult and don't approach it as being quite easy. I guess that's one misconception. I guess some people have that it's easy. But I guess let me think a bit deeper into this. Okay. Fibonacci retracements. That's a common one that people tend to use in trading.
Okay.
And a lot of people, they use the Fibonacci quite incorrectly, and they don't understand why markets have to come into certain levels. So for example, if we're pushing bullish and we have a higher high and a higher low and a higher high, the next higher low that's coming down for the retracement and they're looking to buy, people tend to look above 50% of the area. So above 50% of the retracement. And what they don't understand is institutions want to buy at discounted pricing. So they want to get below 50% of their the move up. So people tend to get in quite early and not realize price has to move lower to move higher. So I guess a lot of people get stopped out, not like thinking, well, we're really, really bullish, we should just keep moving up, not understanding deep retracements are required to move price up. So I guess a misconception is a lot of people don't understand why price moves the way it moves. They just don't understand that it has to do certain things to move. So for example, right now I'm expecting price to move up, but it has to make a deep retracement before doing that. And the reason is because we have inefficiencies in the market. So I guess that's a misconception. I guess people just don't realize why markets move and what they need to do.
Mm-hmm. Okay. All right. I dig it. Forrest, Barbie.
Like there are a lot of like ebbs and flows in the market, and I think people, that's our FOMO, is like we feel like we have to get in, and we a lot of the times do have that chance to let the market breathe and make its little pullback or retracement or whatever it is before we get in. I know I've made that mistake a lot, especially that's something I had to untrain. Like,
mm-hmm. Yeah. No, I mean, I still struggle with the same thing, but I'm getting a bit better with it when I understand just higher time frame areas and why. Just basically understanding the why behind pricing. So for example, like NASDAQ was completely collapsing today all throughout, and people are thinking, yeah, we're going to keep pushing bearish. I'm waiting to buy, and people are looking to sell. It's like, you need to understand why should price move in a certain place. Yeah, it's selling off, but why? To be bought.
You know what I noticed when you were going through your trades that you've already taken today? you took a lot of trades. I find it really hard to I guess like switch bias and get ready for the next trade right away. I tend to get stuck in that trade that I've already taken, and you seem really, really good at switching and looking for the next trade right away. Is that something that comes naturally, or did you have to kind of build that skill?
Actually, today's kind of an off day. I typically just enter one trade in the morning in London and kind of just hold it all throughout the day. I don't really change bias much.
Okay.
But I guess when I start seeing things changing, like let's say I was in a buy on NASDAQ and it started reversing, I'm like, oh, okay, maybe it wants to go down. Then I need to quickly look at why it needs to go down, where it needs to go down. So then I had to close out my position, understanding that it has to go down lower. So I'm gonna get taken out. Asian lows are unswept, and my entry's in the Asian session. So I'm gonna get taken out. So I had to quickly switch my bias there. But typically I was expecting it to just continue up. So I do tend to just hold one trade throughout the day, and that's it.
Well, I've noticed in your talking though that you're not thinking in terms of you yourself being right about the trade idea. You're thinking of what the market's going to do. So your expectation isn't on being right or wrong on your trade. It's where the market's going to go. That's where your focus is. It's just an observation.
Definitely. It's just the understanding of why. A lot of people don't ask the question of why does the market have to do what it's doing. They just react rather than understand.
Yeah,
That's true.
I love that. Zam, it's been so nice to have you on this show. Thank you so much for sharing with us your knowledge and wisdom and your expertise. I would love for our people to be able to find you. So if you can share your social media or wherever they could find you.
Yeah, sure. So all of my social media is Zamco Capital. So Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, Zamco Capital. And I also have my free Discord where you can join as well. And that's just in the link in my bio on all of my social pages.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for being here with us, Zam. And hopefully we'll see you soon again.
Yeah, perfect. No, thank you for having me. It was nice meeting you guys.
Nice to meet you too. Have a great day.
Well,
Take
where can
care.
we find you? Do you have socials? Like, where all can we find you outside of the stream?
Outside of the stream, Zamco Capital on Instagram, TikTok, and Twitter. Just Zamco
Awesome.
Capital, and that should come up.
Awesome.
All right. Perfect. Thank you for having me, guys. Take care.
Well, I was going to say we literally just hit 2,000 viewers and that was amazing. But I think we dropped a little bit, sadly. But thank you guys so much for being here with us today and every day. And like Luke said, this is our 3rd week of MyFundedFutures. And we are so happy to be here with you. Barbie and Forrest, any final thoughts before we wrap up?
I think we've had a good one today. I am just, I just had a target filled in my head. These things are distracting. We're doing a lot when we're on here.
Yeah, it's really hard when you're actually trading to talk. But no, good open so far. It's always interesting again with all the different trading styles, like hearing people's perspectives. Definitely a good long that he got in there. I got trailed out of my short at this point. We are coming all the way back up to the top of this node. So I want to see personally if I have these levels drawn on ES and NQ, right? At the top of this node we built lower, 55.16 and 19,310. What happens once we finish this traversal here, right? Is it going to range again, do some big chop on the hourly, or will we actually get that full-on V that he was talking about? Don't know.
The
yet.
reason that trade just went off in my ear is because we were hitting that 5,500 level, which is when I'm really watching on ES too. So we're kind of getting back to that point.
Yep.
Awesome. Well, thank you guys. And also for the chat, we have one more giveaway for you guys. So if you are ready, let's go ahead and do that right now. I will give you guys a few minutes to get ready, set up your computers, and yeah. Should I give them a 5-second count? Or no?
Do it.
Get ready. Everybody get
Give 'em a
ready.
countdown.
Get ready, everyone. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The code is Spotlight.
Ooh.
It's 50 free starter plus code. Spotlight. And please let us know if you got it so we know.
Yeah, I always like kind of watching that all of a sudden
Yeah.
the chat just, and then I'm waiting for it. Who got it? Who got it? There we go.
Someone got it.
Trades.az got one. Pedro got one. Oh, now here it goes. I can't read this too fast.
Yay. So happy. All right. Forrest, did you get to say your final thoughts?
I think he took over mine because I was stuttering over words watching this trade wrap up here.
No, I don't have any more thoughts. My last thoughts were my final
So
thoughts.
I could take back over. So thanks for helping me out there. But yeah, I was watching. So NASDAQ had kind of come up to this swing high. That's one of the things I was kind of watching on NASDAQ as we came up to the 5,500 on ES. So that's why I'd booked a trade there. But I'm going to so we made this big move down, and I'm going to watch to see if we have much retracement through it. I do have a level, the 5,500 level, not just as being the century mark, but it's been a level that keeps coming up as either a target or support and resistance, like kind of over and over and over again. So this will be an interesting level to see if we get this reclaimed and start pushing back up. Because like I'd mentioned earlier, this is kind of a line in the sand. It's the very first one. Then I've got another one kind of up here around 55.50, but this would be the first level to reclaim. So if we start moving back up, that would be the first one, then up to 55.50. My dogs are done with it too here, but yeah, I'm just going to see if we keep retracing this back into the previous day's price action from earlier in the week, or if we start holding below this level. That's going to be an indication of kind of what the market is looking at doing for the second half of the week here.
The dogs are calling you.
Dogs are going crazy.
Yeah. Mama,
So
mama.
I'm dog sitting right now. That's what the problem is. Like, I guess they can be cool for a while, but not the whole stream. They're about to get banished to some deep dark closet, I swear.
Okay, well, let's bring Luke in now and say our goodbyes.
I'm back. Thank you, everyone. This was an awesome stream. Again, if you haven't subscribed yet, please do so. Tomorrow, as we have for the last dozen days or so, we're going to be back with charts, levels, ideas, education, questions from you all, and more and more and more and more. So thank you for hanging out with us.
Yeah, thank you guys for hanging out with us. Yeah.
Love being here every morning.
We've
Forrest?
come to the end of today. Okay, Forrest, go.
I couldn't find my mute button. No, that's it. Good stream. Good stuff.
We've come to the end of today's market journey. Whether you're feeling bullish, bearish, or simply just building your playbook, remember, knowledge is your most valuable asset. My name is Adona, and this is My Funded Futures. Until next time, trade smart, but live well. Bye.
Thank you.